Hi guys, this is Jayblade2000 again, and I'm coming at you with a review of the first season of Futurecard Buddyfight. Now, with the recent success of their card game, Cardfight Vanguard, the company Bushiroad made another card game called Futurecard Buddyfight, and the anime based on it. So how good was the anime? Well, that's the question I plan to answer today with a review of the first season of Futurecard Buddyfight. So, let's get started. What's the story? Well, there appears to be two worlds, our world and a world inhabited by monsters. These monsters can come through portals made by trading cards to Earth to form bonds with humans called buddies. Yes, I know, it is a stupid name. Of course, Futurecard Buddyfight is a stupid name, so there you go. Anyway, these monsters become partners with humans. However, humans do use the monsters to their own advantage to steal, lie, cheat, and kill. So, in an effort, a branch of the police force has cropped up to deal with these criminals, called the Buddy Police. We're not getting any more creative with names here. The best person on the police force is Tsuku Ryoenji, a 13-year-old kid with an amazing buddy monster called Jackknife Dragon. Yes, the one person who is the best at buddy fighting, the best cop on the force, is a 13-year-old kid. Yeah. Anyway, that's one thing I do like about the series, though, is it has its own police force for its main thing that it tries to do. Because in things like Beyblade or Vanguard, you don't have a police force for that. When people can just, if you've seen a show like El Drago or Nemesis, where were people during that? It was only Jenga and a few of his friends going up against some major world-changing threat. But here, we have a police force, which I think is a really nice addition. It adds credibility to the world, because if monsters are actually coming from another world, then, yeah, we need some kind of force to keep evil people in check. Anyway, we meet our main character, martial arts enthusiast, and a beginning buddy fighter, Gal Mikado, because he's red and in the center of the cover. And so, he dreams of having an awesome buddy monster like Jackknife Dragon. And his chance comes when the teacher of his class says that the students must write an essay with the cards they have in their buddy packs, buddy fight booster packs. You can explain that one to me. Oh my god, what? But anyway, Gal pulls what's called a buddy rare, which I'm not actually sure if those are the only kind of monsters that become buddies in this world. I'm not exactly sure. But it's a rare card, and it becomes a dragon known as Drum Bunker Dragon. Now, Drum is not pleased at first to be partnered with Gal Mikado, but he relents after a time, and they actually work together quite well. They go on, and they find out that a group of teens is getting together called Disaster, and planning with a dark power called Disaster Force. They are planning to invade the Earth with dark dragons, and now Gal and Drum must partner together to fight them. So, let's take a look at some of the characters, starting with Gal Mikado. I want to like this kid, okay? He's nice, he comes up to every person he meets, and is real friendly. He sees every new opponent as a friend, and he's very confident, unlike Aichi. I kind of wish he was kind of a little bit more like Aichi, because it's okay to be confident, but just starting out, really. but I'll get to that in just a minute. So he's a good kid. I like him, but oh gosh, he has no character development at all. I'm kind of ruining something, but he just he just wins every fight he enters, and there's just no drama at all because you know he's just going to win these fights. And he just started buddy fighting. See, with Card Fight Vanguard and with Aichi, he was new to the game, and so he lost a couple times. You know, I mean, that's realistic. He just goes up against, Tsuku and a bunch of other guys and just wins. I mean, even Drum has character development in accepting Gal as his buddy and in trying to get more powerful as they take on greater and greater foes. But Gal just keeps on just with pure bravado and just pure Deus Ex Machina and just... I'm sorry, it's just bad character development with him, which is really weird because the next character I want to talk about is Tsuku Ryoenji. And he has some pretty good character development. I can't really tell you much about him, only because, I don't know, spoilers, but he does have some really good character development later on in the series, and I really like his relationship with Jackknife Dragon, because the two do get along very well, and they are like family, but like family, they do have some arguments, and they do not agree on everything, which I really like. The next person I want to talk about is Gal's main friend, Baku, which I really like. Baku's design is something very original I have never seen before, and I always like to see that in a character, a design that has never really been shown before. And I really like this guy because he's a deck builder, not a buddy fighter, and that's really, really original. And in a card game anime, that someone just wants to build decks instead of just go out there and be the best in the world. And he is probably my favorite character. I really like him. He's just laid back. He's kind of cool. He just doesn't really want to fight anybody. He just wants to make decks. And I mean, Gal kind of gets on his nerves sometimes. He's kind of a short temper, but you know, I like him. One thing I don't like is later on in the series, this one girl says to him, oh, your cousin you always talk about, and turns out we haven't heard anything about this cousin. He just pops up, just out of the blue. Oh, hey, this cousin you always talk about. No, he didn't talk about his cousin. And that's, I'm sorry. That's what Nostalgia Critic gets onto stuff for, is you don't explain it. You don't just show it. You have to, you just have to put that in there before, instead of tell us something halfway through. I mean, really. So that's the only thing I don't like about Baku. Alright, so the main villain, Kyoya Gai, I really like this guy. He kind of reminds me of Rin from Vanguard, because I think he might even be better as than Rin, because Rin just kind of let stuff fall into his hands and just kind of, manipulated Aichi and just was kind of laid back. This guy is actually active. He just participates. He actually sets up in advance all the things that can go wrong for the good guys, and it actually goes wrong. The good guys never have the advantage, and that's one thing I really like about this villain, is he does not give the good guys any second chances. He doesn't... I mean, this guy has planned everything out from the very beginning, and he is seen as a real threat. I think they have made him enough of a threat that you actually feel in the final battle, that rush to defeat him. And I think it's cool that he didn't just disappear at the end of the series. He just kind of said, "Oh, I was wrong," and just kind of left. I kind of like that, because with like Rin and stuff and the main villains, they just kind of like, "Oh, hey," and just go off somewhere. But here he just kind of says, "Okay, you were right, I was wrong, I'm gonna go and fix what I've done." He actually takes responsibility for what he's done after Gal convinces him, "Hey, what you're doing is wrong." And I think that shows more of the villain's character, is that he thought he was doing the right thing. He thought he was saving the world, and it turns out he didn't. And so he's like, "Alright, I'm leader of this group, I gotta take responsibility for it." And that is a good villain, because villains are not just evil, want to take over the world. Villains see themselves as the hero of their own story. And I really kind of got that from Kyoya. Alright, so those are the main characters I want to talk about. What are some of the good things about Buddyfight? Well, the art is pretty good, and the relationships between the buddies and humans are really pretty good for the most part, with Gal and Drum arguing and then finding out, hey, we can actually do this together, and, you know, Tasuku and Jack and everything. I think it's pretty cool. And also all of the different cards they show in different decks and different worlds and different monsters and stuff. That's always pretty cool. And I think that's what keeps me coming back to these kind of shows, these kind of game shows, is that you can build all these different kind of strategies and stuff, and it's really quite cool. It can be a little lighthearted and silly and just stupid at times, but at other times, it really is really good. And in the later episodes, near the end of Season 1, oh man, they just throw these plot twists at you, and you're like, oh my gosh. And it's just awesome. But then they mess up the rest of the show. Like I said, character development is a bad thing. We'll be moving on to what's bad about Buddyfight. Well, character development. These guys have almost no character development, which is weird because the villain does, and the main character's rival has development. And that is about it for the characters. The people on his team don't have development. Like, there's one kid who's scared of girls, which was really funny at first, and you could relate, but then it got just kind of awkward after a while. And they're fighting this whole team of girls. He's like, adds the girl, and then he gets more confident, but it turns out she wins because he's still afraid. No! Make him afraid, and then let him go, oh, you know what? This isn't scary at all, and boom, you know? I mean, I don't know. It just, the character development kills this anime for me. Whatever. I think the art's good. I think the plot's good. I think the villain is good. Everything is good, but they just do not develop these characters enough for you to care about them and really feel for Gal or feel for Baku or anything like that. It's just constant win, 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 and it's just frustrating because they've done so good on Vanguard. They've done so good in these other characters in Buddyfight, but they don't take the time to set up their main character. So, in the end, how good is Futurecard Buddyfight? It's good, it's just not at Cardfight's level. And really, it is for younger children. And so if you have some younger children that want to get into some card game animes, or want to get into anime in general, this is a good starting point for them. I think they'll really like it, because it's probably one of the best kid shows for this type of genre. But, I'm sorry, it's just not for me. The first season is, anyway. I don't know, we'll see how 100 does. But, yeah, if you want something mature and just awesome, and just you can get the characters all the way through and just bond with these characters, go to Cardfight Vanguard. Watch that. So, Futurecard Buddyfight, it's good, but it's really not what it should and could have been.